Oftentimes, people who want to hear the voice of the Lord and they feel like they don't, oftentimes we'll start creating theologies like, well, he doesn't speak today. And then we start getting down these
Yeah.
because our experience has told us one thing. But I'll give you a little 30-second teaching that I learned from my wife. My wife is just highly, highly prophetic. I mean, she's one of those prophetic people that scare you. You better tell her your sin before the Lord tells her because she's going to know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've watched her teach this all around the States. But she'll say this at the voice of the Lord. The first voice you always hear is the Lord's.
Yeah.
You could just fall on faith that that first voice you hear is the Lord's. The second voice you hear is your own voice questioning, did I hear the Lord? The
Yeah.
third
Mm.
voice you hear is the enemy's voice partnering with your voice saying, yeah, you didn't hear him.
Mm.
But if you
Mm.
just trust that first voice, it'll take you really far. Now, here's some things I can say about that first voice. You have the Bible, right? I have my Bible here with me. He's never going to contradict his word.
Yeah.
100%.
So if you're going, man, I feel like I heard the Lord. Was that the Lord? Well, does it contradict scripture? No. Okay, you're probably safe to fall on it and trust it. Does it
Yeah,
contradict
yeah,
Yeah.
scripture? Yes. Okay, let's keep practicing. Let's keep and I love that phrase, practicing hearing the voice of the Lord, because it's something that we're all doing by faith.
Yeah.
I have 10 years history practicing hearing his voice by faith to where I have a little more confidence these
yeah.
days than, I can relate to you, people who they maybe have never heard his voice and they're like, I want to hear his voice, but I don't know if I hear his voice. Well, over
Mm.
Yeah.
time, seasons, years, you begin to have confidence in, wow, I took a step of faith based on something I felt the Lord was saying to me. And it
Mm.
and it
That's
turned
great.
out all right, and then you have this history to
Definitely.
fall back on. And then you just begin to learn. You no longer start going like, was that my voice? Was that his voice? You go, oh, I know what it's like when he speaks. But in those early days when you're learning, I would say if you want to hear his voice, probably the biggest thing I would say to do is read the scriptures. I
Beautiful.
mean, if you want to hear his voice, read his words. You start to learn what he sounds like. Oh, this is
Yeah.
how he talks. This is how. And so that would be the first thing that I would say to do. But then I would say I would get alone with God, get in a room, get a journal open, ask him a question, and journal down what you feel like he's saying. And here's the biggest thing that will cause you to stumble is if you overthink that moment.
Mm.
Just write. Just write it.
Yeah.
And after you write it, go back, weigh it with scripture, different things like that. And you always know too, because his voice has this way of, even when it confronts you. This morning, I said he put his finger on something he wanted to deal with. I did not feel shame. I did not feel
Mm.
Mm.
condemnation. I didn't feel bad
Mm.
about myself. I actually felt like I could run through a wall. I felt so
Mm.
Yeah.
empowered. I felt so strengthened. So his voice has a way of empowering you. It has a way of lifting you up. It has a way of encouraging you. The voice of the enemy and oftentimes the voice of ourself has a way of telling you to put your head down. You should be better. You should know better.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make you feel like $1,000 like his voice does. And so I would say if you're wanting to learn his voice, go read scriptures about his voice. Go read John 10. John 10 says, my sheep know my voice. That tells me if you
Yes.
belong to Christ, by default, you come with a starter kit, and that's hearing his voice. You just got to,
Yeah.
by faith, and it's by faith, believing that he wants to speak to you. And yeah, hopefully that helps.
That's great. Really
Definitely.
practical.
That's so good.
Definitely encouraged me because I know even as of recently, I've started to journal, and for some reason I thought I had to go into it with some perfection mindset, but it's like no, just write down your thoughts, and you see Christ in it. You see like, oh wow, like that was actually a God thought. That wasn't me. So I
Yeah.
love that. That's really encouraging.